Hi, everybody. The 4th of July DRFBets race of the day is the third race from beautiful Belmont Park. It's the $100,000 Manila Stakes. I'm Dan Illman. That's Matt Bernier. You can bet the Manila with DRFBets. $100 free cash waiting for you when you open up a DRFBets account. Learn more at drf.com/bet. Let's take a look at this field of 3-year-olds. They're going to go 1 mile on the Widener turf at Belmont on Wednesday, and you can access free formulator pass performances on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Download them and handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post position order, Matt. And Christophe Clement's got a pair in here, beginning with the rail horse, the number 1 Seafoam. Seafoam's only raced once previously on the turf. That was last year as a 2-year-old. He's got some strong turf pedigree.
Yeah, it certainly does. And like you say, the fact that they've only tried the turf once, though, I'm a little bit surprised by that. I know this horse is a New York bred, and obviously they've tried him in some stakes companies. Actually, a stakes winner did that as a 2-year-old. But the turf, it seems like this is actually where he's going to flourish, or where he should flourish anyway. And I just find it a little bit interesting that this is the spot that they choose to bring him back in, go back to the turf with. Second off the bench, Clement has had tremendous success with this move over the past year, or past 3 years, I should say, dirt to turf. Second after the layoff at Belmont, 4 for 9 with a 357 ROI. This horse should take to the turf. The question is he ready for this level of company?
You mentioned the angles that this horse has. He's stretching out. He should show some speed. It is second off the layoff. It is Clement. We've got a similar formulator fact to show the folks over the past 3 years with 3-year-olds moving dirt to turf second off the layoff. 36% wins, almost a $3 ROI. You mentioned the pedigree, and we can take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, and they've got Seafoam. And this isn't a surprise, as he is stretching out in distance, out there on the lead in a short field. So maybe Seafoam at 6-1 on the morning line represents a little bit of value.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I think in a short field, he's going to be a fair number. I can't imagine him taking too much money, especially with Chad's horse in here and Linda's horse on the outside. I think Seafoam has a big puncher's chance in here.
Chad Brown's entrant is the fairly heavy favorite on the morning line. That's the number 2, Raging Bull, undefeated from 2 starts. He's 6-5 on David Aragona's morning line, and I was just very impressed with this horse's most recent win over course and distance. Joel Rosario rode him with the utmost confidence, kept him on the outside, away from trouble. He must have swung about 5 wide turning into the stretch, and once Rosario cracked him, this horse just flew on home.
Yeah, maybe I'm being a little bit too bullish on him. I think he could be a really, like, a graded stakes caliber winner at some point for Chad, because that most recent run, I know it was a non-winners of one other than. Chad can do it a couple different ways. Sometimes if he thinks that the horse is ready to go, he'll throw him into the deep end right away. And other times he'll give him a little bit of time, some seasoning. I think that's what he's doing with this horse. Keep in mind, it's only his 3rd lifetime start. I agree with you. The minute Joel hit him with the stick, this horse extended really, really quickly, really nicely. Final quarter mile in 21.91. He flew home. I think the sky is the limit for this horse.
Chad won this race last year, I believe, with Bricks and Mortar, coming off a very similar angle as Raging Bull. Winner last, second off the layoff, or off at least a layoff of less than 31 to 60 days. So Raging Bull's going to be strong in here. He may just need a little bit of pace. Factor this, got a beautiful ride from Dylan Davis last time out, was just able to walk the dog on the lead against 62,500 claimers. So he's taking a big step up in class. He faces other speed down towards the inside with Seafoam. Unlikely to get the same trip that produced that 87 Beyer top. 10-1, he's an underrated horse, but this just might be a little too tough.
Yeah, and you brought up that most recent start, the 62,500 claimer. He's not going to work out such an easy lead that time, especially with the horse drawn to the inside. I think Seafoam is going to be forwardly placed. I'd imagine factor this, he's going to have to sit a little bit, because the likelihood of making him the front at the sort of fractions that he did in that most recent start seems very unlikely.
Clement has Seafoam, but I think the number 4, Up the Ante, is a very dangerous contender, luring Javier Castellano to ride. This horse had to do a lot of work last time out at Delaware. If you look at those Timeform US color-coded pace ratings, they were all fast, and he was really doing a lot of work on the lead. He finished a solid second. He's now paired up Beyer tops in his last 2 races, and I think the plan here, with the other Clement horse being a speed, is to revert to the sort of stalking, rallying tactics that produced that second-place finish. He was eventually awarded first purse money at Keeneland. I wonder if they'll Up the Ante can rally successfully from off the pace. He has some upside.
I think the key for this horse in the ride for Javier is going to be to get the jump on Chad's horse. I don't think you want to be starting with him, but if you can start a length or 2 in front of him, I think you're going to be able to get the jump, and ultimately that could be the difference maker. You're right about the time form situation in that Stanton. He was very close to a hot pace throughout, and I thought he finished admirably. He's the kind of horse, he's paired up by our tops of 81. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we had a big forward move here.
The number 5 is Westerland. This is a Juddmonte Farm homebred and a son of the great Frankel. He's making his first North American start for trainer Belmont, obviously Lasix on. We have not seen him since October, but he took on some very strong competition overseas. The runner-up of the most recent start finished second in the Epsom Derby this year.
Yeah, go back to the summer of last year as well. You see names like September and Massar, who we know what they've come back to do as 3-year-olds as they've continued to develop. He's been gone for some time, and I guess that's a little bit of a concern. First start, is he going to be ready to fire? Belmont's done very well with these sort of horses in the past, and like you say, the Juddmonte bloodline's all flowing throughout. I think this is an interesting horse. Maybe not today or Wednesday for the race of the day, but perhaps down the road with some distance, he might be okay.
Raging Bull is unbeaten, but he hasn't run as fast yet as the number 6 Hangman, who popped an 88 Beyer speed figure last time out with the addition of blinkers for trainer Linda Rice. I really like the slight incremental move up in distance from 6 to 7. Now he's going to get a mile, and we've got a very positive formulator fact for the great Linda Rice. Over the past 3 years, with last out winning 3-year-olds on turf making the second start off the layoff, Linda's won 6 of 12 with over a $5 return on investment. This is a very nice attack post position on the outside. He might be getting the jump on both Up the Ante and Raging Bull from stalking range. This horse is a strong contender, and 7-2 on the morning line is fair considering that last fig.
Absolutely, the highest last out buyer in the field with an 88, and like you say, there's a real scenario where this horse gets the jump on both of the other main contenders in here. And again, so much of it comes down to tactics and where you're going to be positioned. We've seen this turf course at Belmont occasionally be a little bit friendly to speed. It seems like, again, it's rock solid. We haven't had a ton of rain recently. If Hangman got brave out there and got first run on those other two, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he were to win this.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the 4th of July race of the day, the $100,000 Manila Stakes. We're both going to chalk out with Chad, however, he's winning everything. He's got the 2 Raging Bull. We were just very visually impressed with that performance. The race has come back fast. He's been consistently fast throughout his 2 starts. I think this is a really interesting horse as we head into Saratoga.
And I have to be honest, to me, this is kind of, I don't want to say it's an important race in my opinion, because if he doesn't do what I think you and I think he's capable of doing, then all of a sudden maybe you just need to reassess and hit the reset button. If he goes on and wins impressively or does what he did in that most recent start, shows that great turn of foot late, then all of a sudden you're thinking he's going into the deep end, wherever that next start is. He'll be in a graded stakes race. I think the other horses in here are very good. This is a solid group for a short field, but I think Raging Bull, his ceiling is much higher than everyone else's, I think.
Give me numbers.
In this spot, I'm going to go 2-4-6.
I'm going to go 2-6-3, leaning on the 2 and the 6 in early multiple race wagers. You can play this 4th of July Belmont card with DRFBets. Sign up right now. Access $100 in free cash. It's very easy. Just go to drf.com/bet. Approximate post time for the $100,000 Manila is 2:37 Eastern. Happy 4th of July.